6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Hassan Gilani. First, the headlines. Prime Minister says putting backward areas of the country on path of development is amongst the foremost priorities of the government. Pakistan and Australia have agreed to further strengthen bilateral defense relations, taking practical steps in this regard. Foreign Office has urged interim Afghan authorities to ensure that their territory is not used for terrorist attacks against Pakistan. A 10-member Kashmiri delegation representing both sides of the line of control will attend the 54th session of UN Human Rights Council beginning in Geneva today. Over 135,000 Canadian Sikhs have voted in favor of establishment of an independent Khalistan homeland. In Super 4 stage of Asia Cup, cricket match between Pakistan and India is underway at Colombo. And now the news in detail. Caretaker Prime Minister Anwarul Haque Kakar has said that putting backward areas of the country on the path of development is priority of the government. He was talking to Country Director of World Bank Najeh Benhassin, who called on him in Islamabad today. The Prime Minister recognized that the World Bank is playing a role for development of backward areas, especially remote areas of Balochistan. Anwarul Haque Kakar was appreciative of the role played by World Bank in helping and rehabilitating last year's flood-affected people. He said the government will provide all possible administrative support to complete the ongoing rehabilitation work in the affected areas. Caretaker Prime Minister Anwarul Haque Kakar has said that no compromise will be made on Hajj arrangements to provide maximum facilitation to the intending pilgrims next year. He said this while chairing a meeting in Islamabad today regarding advanced preparations for the next year's Hajj. The Prime Minister directed Minister for Religious Affairs Aneek Ahmed and Secretary of Ministry to undertake Hajj preparations in advance. He decided to constitute a committee to review Hajj arrangements. Caretaker Prime Minister has said perpetrators of Jallianwala incident will be brought to justice to prevent such attacks in the future. He was talking to a delegation of the Christian community that called on him in Islamabad today. The Prime Minister said the entire state machinery is standing behind our minorities for their rights and protection. He said minorities in Pakistan have equal rights. Defense Minister Anwar Ali Haider has said Pakistan is committed to supporting initiatives for peace in the region. He was talking to Australian High Commissioner Neil Hawkins, who called on him in Rawalpindi today. They discussed peace and security in the region and global context. The visiting dignitary appreciated Pakistan's efforts in this regard, especially in the Afghan peace process. Bilateral cooperation avenues in the field of counter-terrorism and economics also came under discussion. Agreeing on the existence of enormous scope for strengthening and further cementing bilateral defense ties, both sides assured taking specific practical steps in this regard. Caretaker Minister for Federal Education Madad Ali Sindhi has stressed the need to increase efforts to inculcate Siratul Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in youth and holding of conferences in this regard in universities. He was talking to President of International Islamic University, Professor Dr. Hatal Hamoud Al-Tabi, who called on him in Islamabad today. The minister said International Islamic University should take the lead in this and ensure that such institutions not only focus on academic education but also focus on character building. The minister was informed that the Imam of Kaaba, Sheikh Mahir Al-Muqalle, has been invited to Pakistan and that the university will request him to grace the occasion of Siratul Nabi, peace be upon him, conference as well. Caretaker Minister for Information and Broadcasting Murtaza Solanki has said government fully believes in the freedom of expression. He said this while interacting with a delegation of the newly elected office bearers of Press Association of Supreme Court in Islamabad today. Turkmenistan's ambassador to Pakistan, Atadjan Mavlabov, called on Finance Minister Dr. Shamshad Akhtar in Islamabad today. During the meeting, they emphasized on strengthening bilateral relations and increasing economic cooperation in various sectors. The 75th death anniversary of Father of the Nation, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, is being observed with due solemnity today. In this connection, Quran Khani and Fatiha Khani was held at Mazar-e-Qaid in Karachi. Radio Pakistan and Pakistan Television are broadcasting special programs on this occasion to pay tribute to Quaid-e-Azam for his unmatched services for freedom of Pakistan. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah passed away on this day in 1948, shortly after achieving freedom for the nation. This is Radio Pakistan. Foreign Office has asked interim Afghan authorities to ensure that their territory is not used as a launching pad for terrorist attacks against Pakistan. In response to media questions regarding the statement by Afghan Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the closure of Torkham border, Foreign Office spokesperson Mumtaz Zahra Baloch said, "We expect the Afghan authorities to be mindful of Pakistan's concerns and respect its territorial integrity." Expressing surprise over the Afghan Ministry of Foreign Affairs statement, she said, "Interim Afghan authorities know fully well the reasons for the temporary closure of Torkham border." A 10-member Kashmiri delegation hailing from both sides of the line of control has left for Geneva to attend the 54th session of United Nations Human Rights Council, which will begin today. The delegation, led by All Parties Hurriyat Conference Azad Jammu and Kashmir chapter Altaf Hussain Vani, during its week-long stay in Geneva, will also attend important meetings with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, special rapporteurs, diplomats, and representatives of international non-governmental organizations. The main objective of this visit is to bring to focus the ongoing human rights violations in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, occupation troops in their ongoing cordon and search operations arrested 3 civilians, including a woman in Baramulla district. According to Kashmir Media Service, the troops arrested Latif Ahmed, Shaukat Ahmed, and a woman during raids on their houses in Chak-Tapar area. The troops also conducted search operations in different areas of Rajouri, Poonch, and Raisi districts. Meanwhile, leadership of the Kashmiri American diaspora, led by World Kashmir Awareness Forum, and leadership of African American diaspora, led by the Sierra Leone Muslim Jamaat, co-hosted an interactive panel discussion in Washington calling for alleviating sufferings inflicted on the people of Jammu and Kashmir by Indian occupation forces. Over 135,000 Canadian Sikhs have voted in the referendum for the establishment of an independent and sovereign homeland, Khalistan. The pro-Khalistani Kashmiri Group for Justice had organized the referendum in Vancouver yesterday. The voting took place at the Gurdwara, which was the site of tragic assassination of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, the president of Khalistan Referendum Canada and a prominent Sikh activist. In Lebanon, 4 people were killed and dozens wounded in renewed violence between rival groups in a Palestinian refugee camp. Lebanese military said that 5 soldiers were also wounded after 3 shells landed at army checkpoints surrounding the camp. The United Nations has stressed the need for a political solution to Syria's enduring crisis. Speaking to reporters in Damascus, UN Special Envoy for Syria, Geir Pedersen, warned that without addressing the crisis, humanitarian suffering will continue. In the Super 4 stage of Asia Cup cricket at Colombo against Pakistan, India were 342 for 2 in 49.5 overs a short while ago. Earlier, Pakistan won the toss and chose to field. And finally, the weather. Hot and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country, while hot and humid in plain areas during the next 12 hours. However, rain, wind, and thunderstorm is expected at isolated places in Islamabad, northeast Punjab, Kashmir, and adjoining hilly areas during the night. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.